Welcome back to Digital Perspective, everybody. I'm Brad Kimes, and you can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen and everything we're talking about here. Okay, let's get into this thing. A lot of news this morning, and it's all bullish on crypto and XRP from where I'm sitting. And let's go ahead and get started. So this is the Ripple IPO watch. Nothing to report this morning, but I'll tell you, it really is reaffirming to know that we do feel like, this is a potential window for not only Ripple to IPO, but many companies in the blockchain crypto space to take the opportunity to go public. And with that, guess who else thinks so? That's right, Barry Silbert. Yes, indeedy. Barry Silbert. Shout out to Barry Silbert. He's welcome on the show anytime. Barry Silbert predicts there will be publicly traded crypto companies in 2020. And you know what? So do we. And it feels nice that we're aligning with Barry here, knowing that Barry is a seed investor, early investor into Ripple itself and the digital currency group and Grayscale and about a million other things, because Barry has been very key as a venture capitalist building out this space. We will keep an eye on that. It is very exciting to know that we more than likely will see Coinbase and a few other companies, and hopefully Ripple as well, sometime before the end of this year, IPO. That is exciting. We certainly keep a watch on that. Now, again, Barry Silbert tied to Grayscale XRP Trust, now investment fund here, and I just think that this is one of those things that screams fundamentals to me. If Barry's bullish on it, I'm bullish on it. And you don't start a trust unless you think it can make you some money. So I'm pretty bullish on it. It's not financial advice, but these are kinds of, like I said, these are the kind of fundamentals that I'm looking for to get excited about. No doubt about it. All right, and we're going to talk about something at the end of this video too that I think is really important about the overall narrative to understand what could or maybe not take place and some of the things, and why people are so extremely bullish on XRP and a high price. We'll talk about that at the end. Okay, so here we go. XRP Crypto Wolf. 85% of Italy's banks are exchanging interbank transfer data on R3's Corda. Oh, really? Now, we've known that this moment was coming. 55 banks across Italy are using R3's Corda to vastly speed up the process. The third and final phase is in October, and association expects to have 70 to 100 banks on the platform. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to run it down for you again. So R3's Corda platform, where companies, banks alike can come in and build their payments application on top of this Corda platform, have the opportunity, if they so desire, to use the Corda settler, which currently right now uses XRP, the digital asset, for settlement. They don't have to use it, but it's there. And if they're building on Corda, and you know that the ultimate efficiency with the product and the whole suite of products that are available complement using XRP, I would imagine at some point we're going to see that happen. One of the things I do want to mention here is that, lately the narrative, not only here on this channel, but Chris Giancarlo and many others have referred to XRP as a currency. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, I think we understand that there's a narrative really developing here about XRP being currency. I think this is an important key moment, not only for it to work in the way that it is meant to around the world, but especially with banks, because if it is currency, then pretty sure that there's not many rules that have to change, if any at all, for the bank to be able to deal with currency. And I think that's a huge thing. So the fact that they're hooked together with R3, using Corda platform to build on their applications, and then, like I said, if we get that designation of a currency that clears banks, they know that they're well in the regulatory standards and guidelines to be able to use something like XRP for settlement. Once they have that kind of designation, I believe it's off to the races. So again, more market infrastructure being connected, very, very exciting. Here's a moment of absolute straight fire. And guys, Mickey B. Fresh recently on the show, I just thought it was a great episode. And I tell you something, normally we do about an hour and we got it down to about 30, 35 minutes. And I think this is a nice compact way to really just take a few less topics and really dive into them a little deeper. And I think we did exactly that on the last video. And you guys responded in kind. It was a really, really good video. So shout out to Mickey B. And here's a great post from him. State Street says Bitcoin and other digital assets will evolve to trading on a blockchain DLT. Expect institutional spot exchanges to trade crypto and tokenize assets on DLT infrastructure. This current market infrastructure of off-ledger trading is coming to an end soon. Well said, Mickey B. Listen to this remark here from State Street. Let me back this up and get this volume up for you here. Okay. And I also want to make sure one second. I don't want any double audio happening for you guys. Nothing but the best for you. Let me get that plugged in there. There we go. All right, here we go. Here's the clip for you right here.
So I think one of the reasons we are very interested in the crypto market, and we're looking at a number of use cases, is the way Bitcoin trades and the way Bitcoin is going to evolve is the same way any other asset is going to evolve, right? Trading on a blockchain. So that to us is exciting. And one of the reasons we are very interested in the crypto market, and we're looking at a number of use cases, is the way Bitcoin trades and the way Bitcoin is going to evolve is the same way any other asset is going to evolve, right? Trading on a blockchain. So that to us is exciting. And we think that is a market that's going to, right now it's burgeoning. I think you have a lot.
And there it is. And there it is. I have been saying this for quite some time. I believe that, all pre-mined Bitcoin ends up on the ledger. Now, maybe it doesn't go that way. But I know one thing. The guy from State Street, he's talking the same kind of language. There's no question about it. So this is interesting. I've even proposed a notion that maybe we see, because it's obvious to me that Bitcoin's not going away. It just had a federal judge classify that it was money. Now, it didn't say currency, but it did say money. And I think that's a step in the right direction, for all of us. And I want to see Bitcoin remain. The truth is, for me, is that, what's funny about all of this is that if, in fact, the guy from State Street is right here, and, in turn, we happen to be too, I do think that that is the way the space grows together, is that everything's going to have to be on a few different highways, touch, transact, or cross across a couple different highways in order to create the virtual framework for this entire space. How else do they monitor all of this? Jay Clayton said in a congressional hearing a few months ago that, you can't fight the tech. You have to embrace it. And that's really where the strength is for governments and banks alike. Embracing the tech. Remember what happened to the music industry when they didn't embrace digital music, digital file sharing. It absolutely turned the entire record industry upside down. The banks have learned from that, and they may seem slow on the uptake, but believe me, they're working with public and private relationships, governments and banks alike, to make sure that they do not have happen to them what happened to the big record companies in the music industry when they thumbed their nose to digital technology. And it has forever changed that space. And I believe it is forever going to change this space as well. However, they're hip to it, and they're going to be a part of it. And they're using the regulators and legislation in order to develop the necessary framework that forces everybody to transact, I believe, on a certain set of protocols. I believe a couple of them will happen to be the ILP and the XRP ledger, and I'm sure there'll be some others. But for that today, that's where my head is. So let's keep this going. This shows you how big it's all getting here. SBI, another early investor into Ripple, launched the S coin, which will use R3 Corda, started pilot test for SBI Group this month. SBI built the S-Coin platform and money transfer, a smartphone money transfer settlement app provided by MoneyTap, and plan to use it as a digital currency issuance platform in the future. I like this. I mean, look, there's more expansion. There's more things going on out here in this space than you can really keep track of. And, you know, for me, I know some people's initial reaction to this may be like, oh, great, now they're not going to use XRP. I don't feel that way. XRP is back end. So the more coins and tokens that are developed for more apps are really about being able to track what happens on that app with those particular transactions to that app. That's how I see it. And I see this space greatly growing to where there are just thousands upon thousands of different tokens that represent people's businesses, people's platforms, or whatever it is. And back end, it settles with XRP wherever applicable, wherever there's friction. We're going to talk about that in a second here too, so let's keep this going. RippleNet Tuesday announced that Ripple's partner SBI joins forces with Mnuchin Bank amid new corridor rumors about a Vietnam corridor opening up for payments for over 4,000 workers. And I have to say that, again, you know, SBI, Yoshitaka Kitao, has been a key force in this entire plan for tying in market infrastructure and what he has done just in Japan alone. And believe me, SBI has efforts going on around the world with many different startups and directly with their business. So it's, again, you know, we have done a lot of news here lately because we've had a lot of great news come from the OCC domestically here in the States. But this is a reminder that this is a global effort. And I believe now more than ever, you know, the other side of the globe could decide to take off whenever ready. I mean, we're getting very, very close here. Now, coming back to domestically here in the States, are there issues that still need to be solved? You better bet. And are some of those issues parallel to other global, you know, efforts and other countries on the other side of the world? You better bet it is. So is custody still an issue? You bet. And is that a domestic issue or is that an international issue? Well, it's international, right? So, I mean, there are things that need to be further developed to where they can grow at scale, like Polysci, right? So these kinds of things are just, you know, to me, again, the headwinds are very, very strong where we're going here. So let's keep this moving. Here's another thing. You know, as we follow the crypto space, we have to pay attention to some of the other markets, the traditional markets, you know, like commodities and metals, like gold. Yeah, as gold sets highs past $1,900, currently back down at, I think, $1,888 this morning when I looked at it. Stablecoin issuer Tether claims demand for its gold-backed crypto, XAUT, has also surged. Now, this is interesting because I want to take you to this right here. And this is an article, Why Physical Gold Delivery on the COMEX in New York is Elevated. Basically talking about, I'm going to surmise this article for you, basically saying that there's a disparity between fair market price because there's the same buyers for the same ounce of gold. And people are taking more physical delivery than normal because of these extraordinary times we are in. That's the long and short of it. Okay? What's interesting about this is that when you come down through all of this and get to the conclusion, physical delivery on COMEX is elevated because of the current unusual situation in global gold market. The gold delivered in New York has been imported from spot markets such as Singapore, Switzerland, and Australia. U.S. imports directly from the UK are rare because in London, 400-ounce bars are traded and the main futures contracts in New York require smaller bars for delivery. So the disparity in this article was largely between London price and the New York price on the COMEX. So this gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because as you know, it has been highly suggested and rumored that, you know, with the launch of everyone's central bank digital currencies and knowing that there's still a full Senate vote that has to happen for somebody like Judy Shelton here in the United States, she has suggested in years past that they create a gold-backed bond market for backing the currencies, the major currencies of the world. Now, that would fall in line if we're in the middle of this digital age and we see the tokenization of every major currency's dollar, as we are seeing, and then a bond market, gold bond market created to back and support that, bringing confidence to a new digital dollar system throughout the world. If all of this was built on a private ledger or a private network on top of the XRP ledger, I would not be surprised. And in turn, I think the value of all that entire money of the world could reflect through the price of XRP and the gold bond market, should it be introduced in the manner that Judy Shelton is talking about. Let's keep going here because we got to look at this one. Now, this hammers it home exactly what we're talking about. Let's listen to this clip here. I found this really interesting from Real Vision here. Let's listen to this gentleman. I don't know which his name is, but he makes an excellent point here, and I think you all are going to like it.
Way out of the dollar trap, the way to fix this system without blowing the system up, without the system collapsing chaotically, which would be bad for everybody, is it's remarkably simple, actually. It's mechanically simple. It's politically very difficult. And that is, you have to price commodities, and in particular energy, in the SDR currencies. And then you have to settle any imbalances in a neutral reserve asset. And so basically, instead of having oil only priced in dollars, US can buy it in dollars, China can buy it in yuan, the Japanese can buy it in yen, the Europeans can buy it in euro, so on and so forth. And then basically what this does is it removes the, it's basically the Bancor system that was the other system proposed at Bretton Woods.
And that's really the truth. That is exactly what it is. Only today we have the technology to be able to accommodate that idea and notion that was really created with the Bancor coin suggestion back at the original Bretton Woods. Just listen here for a second, because this is the part that I really like.
Balances in a neutral reserve asset. And
that's really the deal. You know, all of this idea about Judy Shelton's gold, back to the future gold standard in a cryptocurrency way, the idea of, you know, developing the liquidity that's truly needed in a neutral bridge asset like XRP, you know, this is the kind of cooperation that would need to happen. And mechanically and innovation wise, the tech is here. It's mechanically simple, just as he suggested. Now, politically, you have to be able to win everyone over to use it, or at least enough people over that the leverage is there, that the rest of the world has to come along with you. What I find interesting about that is that, you know, I'm reminded of the early days of Ripple when they had the accelerator program and they had pre-allocated $300 million worth of XRP to incentivize the different areas and markets and industry to begin to use this asset to properly and responsibly disseminate this asset throughout the right hands to begin to establish a path that XRP could in fact become currency. Not just money, but currency. So it gets more interesting by the day. And then, you know, you have this for fun. We all saw the article, I think it was a week or so ago. Steve Wynn believes that the price of XRP can go as high as $10,000 on the market. Now, Steve Wynn is not only a former blackjack player, he is a real estate investor and an investor in general. And he is a remarkably smart man, and he's very, very bullish on XRP. And I think we all understand where his head is on this. And he understands clearly that he sees it as an international currency And he explains that, it's responsible for, international payments, cross-border settlement. He really does go through the thing and the transfer that can be adopted on massive scale. So, when you look at this, I mean, long term, right? I mean, this could happen. What kind of volume or money at this point would take us to that place? What is needed on daily flows with the current 44, almost 45 billion in circulation to get us to $10,000? Well, that's a great question, you guys. So let's go ahead and look at it. It takes $110 trillion in daily transactions. To this calculator from Susan Athey, who works for Ripple and developed this calculator, along with Robert Mnuchin. And if you put it in, you get a $10,098.78 XRP. That is with the 45 billion. It's currently at 44.8. I just put 45. I went up in numbers until I got to the $10,000 mark. It would take $110 trillion daily transaction volume to make that happen. Now, that's quite a number. That's quite a number, and we're at 20 cents. The reason I bring this up, and the reason that I really do bring this up, is because if we look at what this gentleman has said here about a neutral asset that sits in the middle of what we've heard many people say, even Ripple, it's about all the money. All the money. I don't know if you're aware of this, but all the what they call broad money floating around the world is in the tune of 80 trillion. Now, if that's all the currencies floating around the world in the tune of about 80 trillion daily or so, then I don't think we're really that far away from it. Because if you think about the fact that if XRP were to truly be considered and accepted as a neutral asset for a new financial system, that would then in turn place all the major currencies as a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, on the new system, that would potentially be backed by Judy Shelton's gold bond scenario. It doesn't get that hard to see. It really doesn't get that hard to see. Now, it has to happen, right? Or it hasn't happened. And it has not happened as of yet, right? However, when Ripple has had several hackathons and conferences and developer meetings where they make shirts that say it's about all the money. When Bob Way was asked, how high could XRP go by several people, he says, I don't really know. I mean, how much money is in the world? When you think about that, I'm reminded of what Glenn Hutchins has said. The value is in the protocol. The value is in the highway that allows everything to transact across it. And that would be the XRP ledger. And in my estimation, by default, the XRP token would reflect the price of all the money. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Share it with somebody you know. We'll catch you on the next one.